All right, let's try and finish this project up this week. Uh, the commercial drafting and detailing book from the commercial drawing one course. In my version of the book, it's chapter 15 on land descriptions and drawings. It gives a really good description of site plans and documenting site plans and things like that. So it's a pretty good bit of information in there. That's really good. Um, However, in their assignment, it really didn't say much about how to develop a site plan for this building other than just so many parking spaces and things like that. So what you're seeing here, this is my final version, right now. Uh, I've added the parking lot and some parking spaces, and now that I've looked at it a little more, there's room to put some more spaces here in the middle. Okay, added a dumpster pad back here, light poles that go around, chain link fence around the retention pond, and a catch basin right down here. Now, in regular straight up Revit, you can't do curb and guttering unless your site is flat or you jump through a whole bunch of hoops. And for your streets and parking lot and things, they you use um, a floor to make them out of. But if you do that, then it it doesn't um, slope to your topography of your site. You can slope a floor, but it's a constant slope. Okay, so you just there's not a good way to do it. And the site designer add-in that I had mentioned earlier in the week, it will do these things, but it's not. And I'm seeing this in reading, on the forums on the web. The site designer is just not up to prime time yet. It's just not working the way that it people want it to work. So we don't have any curb and guttering in our project here. And for what we're doing, that's okay because we're just trying to get an overall representation of our project. The civil engineer guy, he's going to design the parking lot and the streets and the curb and the guttering, and he'll do all that in Civil 3D and make it look, really nice and pretty and document it well. So here's where we're going. Now I'll go ahead and tell you the light poles here. They are in the Revit catalog under lighting, not in electrical, but they're under lighting. And in your AutoCAD drawing, they are these little squares that say LP. Okay, so that's the light poles. Okay, the catch basin, it's in the Revit catalog, and it just looks like a catch basin right there, and it sits flat on a floor level. So you have to kind of figure out an offset to get down from level one or top of footing or something like that. And it sits flat. It doesn't, we don't have any manholes under it or anything like that. Uh, the dumpster enclosure, there are dumpsters in the Revit catalog, but I went ahead and downloaded this whole assembly from Revit City and put it in, and you just have to adjust your elevation so that all four corners are on the ground or in the ground. Okay. Now we could have adjusted our site because as it is now, here's the high point of our site here, and it all slopes back toward the rear of the building, toward the retention pond, which means water in the parking lot is going to run towards the building. So in reality, we're going to regrade this to have water run off away from the building and go around the building and stuff. Um, and you could use a graded region to do that. But it's a little beyond the scope of what I wanted to cover in the class. So just be aware those things do happen. Um, and designing a parking lot is a lot more difficult than you would just think. Okay, because of rain, you got to have a place for rainwater to go, and cars have to turn and things like this. So, but here's where we're going with our project. Now, to kind of walk you through, let me. Oh, and the fence here, the chain link fence. I got that downloaded from Revit City. This particular one, um, you can have an offset uh, because it goes in on a level. Okay, um, like it's set for level one. That's just what I was working from, and I offset it up or down, and then you have a delta elevation where you can change the slope of one end of the fence, but it only changes in a positive direction. So you have to start your fence when you're drawing it on the lower side and draw to the higher side, and the elevation change adjusts the higher side up. Okay, so you may have to draw. You can't necessarily just draw in sequence going around because I think one or two of these segments up here I had to draw backwards because of the way it slopes. Anyway, but that was on Revit City. I could not find head walls because here we have a head wall that goes in back here, and up here by the street we have some flared in sections for the pipe that goes under the drive. I could not find those anywhere to download. I thought that kind of strange, but I could not find them, so we're not going to worry about putting them in. All right, now let me go to an old version here, and I'll show you how I went about doing the parking lot. First thing I wanted to know, I wanted to know the center of my drives so I could kind of, get an idea of where those things are playing. And I based it off of a parking space, which is in here. And I just used the 9 by 18. You know, you've got straight or angles and you've got other sizes. So I just went with that. And they come in straight up and down, but if you will hover over a line in your drawing and then hit the space key to kind of tab it to make it rotate, then it will align itself with that. And so I just dropped me one in there. And what it does is it has one stripe and then there's the edge of it. And you can do when you get your parking lot finished, you can do an array to copy it down and stuff like that. I just wanted to put one in so I can see the sizes. Now I use some sketch lines to kind of create my lot. And what I did, I started out with picking lines, and so I picked the edge of the sidewalks. Okay. And then I did an offset of 18 feet because that's what the parking spaces are. Okay, and so that gives me the extent of the parking space. And I need a minimum of 24 feet as a drive lane in between those. And so you can do another offset, 24 feet. And that gives you an idea of your minimum drive lane. Okay. Now from the street, we have a ditch right here, so we know we can't have any parking there. And let me pop another line there. Come on, mouse. And my mouse is like running super slow. Okay, so that's the back of what was the curb and gutter there, and and that's fine. And then I did an offset, and I'm down here. I did 40 feet. I don't think I did 40 feet here. No, I have to go back and look and see on that one. But I did an offset of 40 feet here, and then we'll do another offset, 18 feet. Okay, and so that's where my parking spaces would go in here. Okay, and basically what I did is I just come on mouse, man. Maybe if I don't know what is going on. I bet my close that, see if it'll free up a little memory. Um, okay. Um, and basically what I did is I put a couple more lines in, and that seems to be the center of the drive there. Well, I didn't want that at 18 feet. Excuse me. I just want it to be parallel to it so I can see how things are coming in up here. And basically, I'm sketching out what I want my parking lot to look like. And once I've kind of got things figured out, I don't really need the parking space anymore. And here, I came in the length of the 18 feet in, basically from there to there, and I put a 5 foot radius island turn to come back. And what I'm doing is I'm putting in a closed loop in my sketch, and then I come over here and I do a split surface, and I pick those lines. Oh yeah, pick the surface you want to split first. And then I picked the lines that were the perimeter of my parking space, my parking lot. But it has to be a closed loop. Okay. And so to do that, I'm just going to cancel out of this. And so you can kind of see my lines underneath there. And then after I got my lot figured out, I went ahead and deleted all the interior lines because I didn't need them anymore. But there's my excuse me, there's my parking lot. And then I came back in and added added the lines coming across here. I tried to make that length equally divisible by 9 feet. Okay, to make that work, did 25-foot radius on coming in. Um, let's see, Okay, I did do 40 feet there. Okay. Um, and so that's pretty much it. When you get done with your parking lot and you add in these site amenity things, the dumpster, the fence, and the light poles and things, put a couple of section views in through your building, and you can expand the extents of it. You know, what I'm looking for you to give me in this, I'll make it shaded, be a little easier to see, is I want to make sure that your building pad works out right, your ground around your footings, your sidewalk, these things kind of work together. Okay. And what you do is you'll do these sections and then just do a screenshot of this to turn in. I'll put in Blackboard exactly what I what I want. Oh, I didn't want a site plan. I wanted a 3D view. Okay. So we'll have, some parking spaces around the building, along the street on one side. I haven't looked at there. I think there's enough room to put more spots here. They could be angled spots, probably. Um, and then add in these amenities. And I think that's going to be it for this week. Okay. That was a lot of video to get us to this point, but um, I think that's good. It's been a good exercise. And then next week we'll move on to some other things. So take a look in Blackboard to see exactly what I want you to submit for this week. If you got questions, shoot me an email.